Hello, everybody. I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. Today, I had a little bit of spare time on my hands, if you can believe that, and I decided to read Enoch 2. There's a part in there where Enoch gets anointed with this oil. And after he is anointed with this oil, he notices that he looks just like the holy ones. Okay, he looks like the seraphim. And once he goes back to earth to talk to his children and explain to them the things that he had seen, Methuselah was wanting to give him something to eat. And you have to look at that in spiritual manner, because Enoch told him, he said, since I was anointed, meaning, like born again, I no longer desire food, meaning he don't want to be fed the things of this earth, okay? Because he goes on to say, he says that I don't remember having any earthly pleasure. I was like, all that stuff that I thought was fun before, it doesn't seem like fun to me anymore. And he says, nothing of this earth really matters to me anymore. So anyway, it was written there that earthly things no longer mean anything to him, not like it did before. And I so relate to that. I remember the night, June 14th of 2012, it was like, boom, it's like taking your first breath as an immortal one. Your eye is open for the first time and you see the world for what it really is, not the illusion that you had. In Matthew chapter 10, verses 34 through 36, I believe, is a verse that so many people take out of context. But Jesus says there, don't think that I come to bring peace on this earth, but I bring a sword. He said, man's going to go against father, daughter's going to go against mother, son against father. It's just, there will be no peace. That word for peace there in the Greek is the same as what the word in Hebrew for shalom means. And that means to be made one again, to be whole again, to have a peace of mind. So if you have no peace, you're not set at one again, meaning you're still double-minded, okay? You're at war with yourself. It's written in Luke chapter 19, Jesus, he says, if you're gonna follow me, you gotta let go of everybody. You gotta let go of your mom, your dad, your son, your family, everything. And I know I'm 10,000 miles away from my mom, my children, my grandchildren. I'm sitting on top of a mountain in the middle of the jungle in Southeast Asia. I had to leave everything. Now, in a lot of the verses, it says you have to hate your mom, hate your dad. But what it means is to love less, because God don't want you to hate anybody. It means you've got to be willing to leave everything and follow him. That's why later on it says, if you build a house, if you're going to build a house, you've got to sit down and you got to look at the cost and see if you can do it or not. That night on June 14th of 2012, I saw God face to face. All right, remember Jacob said, I saw God face to face. He named the place Peniel, because I've seen God face to face and my life has been preserved. And that word in Hebrew for preserved doesn't mean saved, it means snatched away. His life was snatched away. It was no longer him who lives, but Christ who now lives within him, because he's seen God face to face. Remember, he told Moses, nobody can see my face and live. You can't see his face and live. Everything, you are very carnal. So everything carnal about you is destroyed. In John 1:14, it's written, the Word became flesh, okay, and made his dwelling place among us, meaning within us, all right? The Logos now lives within us. We hear the Rhema and we speak the Logos, all right? It's written there that we have seen his glory, meaning they have seen his face, and he is full of grace and truth, meaning there is no lie in him, and there is no lie in those whom he dwells within, those who the Word of God has made his dwelling with. There is no lie in those. In Hebrews 4, verse 12, it's written that the word of God, the Logos, not words written on paper, is sharper than a double-edged sword. All right? Remember Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace, but I brought a sword. You see, that sword cuts and divides. All right? But it's done with love, but it can be painful at first, okay? That there is no peace because it cuts and it separates you from family and friends and stuff at times. I'm not saying it does it all the time, but in my case it did, and Jesus said it would. In Jeremiah, it's written, you're my battle axe. You are my sword, all right? So those who have went through this, all right, those who have been cut down by that sword, when the Rhema has come to them, they heard the word. Faith comes by hearing. That means you heard the Rhema. It's actually the inner voice of God. When you hear it, you come to him and you see him face to face. All right? And that's when everything changes. Remember in John 1:14, it's written, we have seen his glory, meaning face to face. And if you'll go to Jude 1:14, just like John 1:14, this is where we hear Enoch, the seventh from Adam, comes with 10,000s, meaning the 144,000 of his holy ones, to bring judgment. Remember, God is love, all right? So they come to make judgment on all the ungodly, unloving people, and all of their ungodly deeds, unloving deeds. I see lots of people on YouTube and Facebook talking about love. I see a lot of talk, but I don't see action. I don't see deeds. 1 John 3:18, it's written, love not, with just words, but with action and deeds. Real love comes with power. You're going to become a servant, but it requires a sacrifice. All right, in order to have that love within, you have to sacrifice it all. Someone the other day had made a comment, and they had brought to my remembrance Anna, the prophetess, and I told them then that I had remembered an old teaching that I'd never shared, and I wanted to bring part of that into this video today. In Luke chapter 2, verses 36 through 37, we hear about Anna the prophetess. I'm reading this from my notes. I don't have a Bible, but I'm reading this from my notes, and it says she is the daughter of Phanuel. All right, and that is the name of the place that Jacob called the place Peniel after he had seen God face to face. All right. She is the daughter of Phanuel. She is of the tribe of Asher. Now listen to this, because I was thinking of the seventh, Enoch, the seventh from Adam. But she was 7 years from when she was a virgin that she was married, all right? And then she had become a widow. But she was a prophetess, and her name is Anna. Now, her uncle's name in Hebrew means face of God, Phanuel, all right? They call this right here your temple, all right? Because this is the temple of God, okay? It's written that Anna never left the temple, all right? She always had her mind on things above, not below, just like Enoch. She's always focused on things above, not below, all right? She never left the temple. She was there always looking at God, following the Lamb wherever he goes, always looking at the face of God, because she had stepped aside and now God was sitting on his throne. She was looking the face of God. That's what Phanuel means. She was not carnal minded, all right? Always had her mind on things above, and she was virgin. Just like the 144,000 are virgins, meaning they are pure. Now check this out. The name Anna means love, but it's two names. It's Anna, all right? And the na means now. Anna means love now. Now, the word prophetess in Greek, it means gifted at exposing divine truth, hidden truth, one who is inspired to speak by God. someone who speaks the Logos. They hear the Rhema, they speak the Logos. Okay, so she loves now. She's speaking the Logos. She is speaking love. Because God is love. She's looking at God all the time, looking at love all of the time. And therefore she can judge all the ungodly, unloving things. Because love is your final authority. You judge everything from love. All right, but she was the 7-year virgin. Enoch the 7th from Adam, okay? There's the 7 churches. All right, the 7 spirits of God. All right, the well, Bathsheba, means the well of 7. It also means the place of the oath. Now, for all of those out there that accuse me of being New Age and stuff like this one's really going to light your fire, okay? Because you can look at the 7 wells as the 7 chakras, all right? In the physical temple of God, the Jewish temple, there is 7 stations that you have to go through before you can get to the Holy of Holies, all right? There are these wash basins where you have to be cleansed. It's ceremonial cleansing, all right? You have to be purified. You have to be as a virgin to go into the presence of God. You know, you see that dude sitting in the lotus position with the 7 chakras, all right? It's just like the temple of God. It's laid out like Jacob with his head on the rock. And once you get to that last cleansing spot here at the throat chakra, all right, for all my haters out there, this is where you make a final sacrifice. This is where you have to make a sacrifice before you go into the Holy of Holies, all right? And that sacrifice means that you have counted the cost and you are willing to take that oath. Remember the well of the oath, the well of 7, all right? I'm willing to make that oath. Lord, my oath is I give you my life. It is no longer me, it's yours now. That's when you get to step up the throat because his head was elevated on the rock. You step up, you ascend up into the Holy of Holies, and you will see God face to face. You are now his sword, okay? You have been made, you have been turned into a sword. You have sacrificed everything. It was not peaceful. Have you ever seen sword makers? They got to go through a lot of fire, a lot of heat, and they get beat, and they get pressed, and they get quenched, and they get put in the fire again, and it is not peaceful. But in the end, they'll find that peace that surpasses all understanding, and you become an amazing double-edged sword that can slice through everything because love conquers all. It ain't New Age, folks. It's just stuff that's been hidden. If you have been through the 7 stages, if you've counted the cost and have made your oath, if you have been crucified with Christ, it is no longer you who live, but Christ who now lives within you. You have seen him face to face and your life was snatched away. You have become the sword of God. You are now prophesying. You are now a prophet or a prophetess who is able to reveal hidden truths to people now. You're exposing knowledge. Daniel had written that in the end days that knowledge would be in abundance, all right? That knowledge is given to those who have paid the cost. They have taken the oath, all right? They've given up everything to follow him. So when you see verses like Jesus saying, I did not come to bring peace but a sword, it's not meaning that he's going to come here and wipe out all the enemies and it's going to be bloody, all this Hollywood God, all right? It's much, much deeper. It's much, much more spiritual. Has nothing to do with carnal. Once you've experienced this, you can't, it's hard to explain, you just have to experience it. But once you have experienced that, nothing of this world matters anymore. It's not the same. It doesn't taste the same anymore. It's just bland. It's like paper. All you want is to eat from that tree of life. I love you all. God bless.